Well, it's about 12 days out from the NFL Draft for 2025, and some news came out last night that might have turned the top of that draft on its head, as Derek Carr, quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, pretty much came out and said that he has a shoulder injury that could put his 2025 season in jeopardy, that him and the team are trying to figure out what's the best path forward in terms of maybe surgery or rehab or whatever they want to do. The other crazy thing about it is the Saints actually restructured Derek Carr's deal just a few months ago in order to create some cap space, and they reduced that cap number. But the thing is, when you kick the can down the road, it balloons the following year, and now he has a $69 million cap hit for the 2026 season. But they also have the ability to save $10 million in 2026 if they actually cut and release Derek Carr with a post-June 1st release. So they'll have $59 million in dead money, but instead of having $69 million against the cap, they'll have that $10 difference to help soften the blow. The weird part about it is they said that the Saints were already aware of this shoulder injury. All in all, it seems like they had to make that move, whether they planned on keeping Derek Carr and him playing this year or him being out with an injury regardless. Either way, if he has an injury and it was football related, he's going to count against the cap and he's going to be a Saint. But the timing for me is really what's weird and fishy, because if both parties kind of knew about the injury, why the timing now 12 days out from the NFL draft? You know, players and agents like to play these type of games and leak information to insiders using guys like Ian Rappaport, who broke this news last night, to kind of put things out there to apply pressure, because the news dropping now, it doesn't help the Saints at all, because it's reported as injury which is lingering for some time. It goes back to maybe some previous injury that Derek Carr might have really had, and the team was aware of it. He's aware of it. Potentially surgery's on the table. Why now for the information to come out? Well, I don't know if Derek Carr was just bitter about the whole situation of how things have gone down, but it doesn't help his case at all. And you have Saints fans who are pissed off about it. They've always felt like Derek Carr never embraced New Orleans. He was kind of just there for the money. I think he has that shoulder injury, but they're questioning his injury because they saw him at Fresno State's spring game or pro day, wherever he was at. You have fans going crazy about what they've gotten from Derek Carr because he's never lived up to that 9-figure contract that he signed back in 2023. But real quick, I appreciate you guys watching. I'm looking at the analytics, and the majority of you guys that are watching aren't subscribed to the channel. I'm on my quest for 20,000 subscribers. I'm doing a pit stop at 17K to do a giveaway. So please hit that subscribe button below. It really helps me out. Only takes about 2 seconds to do. So let's get back to the video. Now, it wasn't a secret that the Saints were doing their due diligence on quarterbacks. They've met with pretty much every quarterback this cycle. There were rumors that came out that they were potentially interested in moving up for Cam Ward, because they actually went to his pro day as well and showed him a lot of love. But they've also met with a ton of other quarterbacks in this cycle, including Quinn Ewers, Jackson Dart, Tyler Shaw, and of course, Shedeur Sanders. Okay, it is what it is. We know that they may look for a long-term answer. They drafted Spencer Rattler last year, of course, in the third round of the draft, and he got a little bit of spin and playing time during the year, but it wasn't really up to snuff despite the bad circumstances. So with a new coach like Kellen Moore coming in, typically we see these guys wanting to get their guy, and handpicking a guy out of a draft, even if it's said to be a shallow quarterback draft, would not be out of left field. But the Saints have so many needs all over the place, it also wouldn't be crazy for them to pass on the quarterback this year and just take the best player available, because they need help all over the place. So with Cam Ward probably being the consensus quarterback one, if the Saints are considering a guy, it may just be Shedeur Sanders, who most people feel is the quarterback 2 of this class. Now, just look at Coach Prime's response to a tweet talking about how interesting things could get for the draft now that the Saints are clearly in the market. He put an eyeball emoji over Louis Riddick's tweet. Not only that, the Saints page posting their own eyeball emojis as well, just fueling the fire as we turn, talking about things can really get interesting in the draft really starts when it gets to that number 9 pick. So just fanning the flames there. And just the icing on the cake, you have Alvin Kamara, running back for the Saints, at the Colorado Pro Day, being posted by the CU Buffalo's Twitter page. So is he there scoping out his potential future quarterback? What is he doing at the pro day? It's just a lot of smoke around this deal, and the connections and the opportunity could be there to put Shedeur Sanders in New Orleans to keep him wearing black and gold. Now, they could just run it back, like I said, with Spencer Rattler, who didn't look the best last year, and just kind of take their medicine. And if Rattler's the guy, he's the guy. If not, they put themselves potentially in position for a better quarterback in next year's class, like an Arch Manning potentially, who could be coming out next year. But who knows? I mean, if they really wanted to get funky and lean into the tank, they could throw Taysom Hill back at quarterback and really get it popping. But I don't know if Kellen Moore's going to be willing to go down that road. No matter who they decide to go with, it feels like the Saints are completely locked in on picking a guy this year, though. It just makes it tough because Derek Carr really showed their hand. So now that teams that may be further back in the draft that are interested potentially in the quarterback, they know that, okay, hey, we have to at least get above the Saints if we want to be able to get our guy. If you're interested in Shedeur or Jackson Dart or whomever, you know the Saints are a team that's going to potentially make a quarterback. Yes, the Giants could go with the quarterback, but all intents and purposes, it seems like they could be going Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. But for me, I'm a little excited because with my favorite team, the Carolina Panthers, picking at 8, this makes them in prime position to be a trade back candidate because you can get one notch above the Saints if you know that you want to get your guy. So one notch above, the closest you can get without having to go too far and make sure you beat the Saints is to get to 8. So the Panthers, they could hold the cards to what could happen in this draft. I've heard a lot of reports that the Panthers want to move back in this draft in a desperate way. Being that they're at number 8, they're going to miss out on the blue chip guys like Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. So what they may want to do is, hey, a lot of people feel like there's not a big difference between those 7 or 8 prospects all the way back to the 30s or even 40s in ranking just because of the lack of talent overall in this class. So the Panthers may want to move back, collect more picks because they need in a desperate way to add an influx of young talent to this team. Yes, they spent some money the past few years in free agency and trying to turn things around, but you can't buy your way out of being trash. You have to draft your way out of it. And with a lot of damage being done from the prior regime, whether it was Matt Rule or Scott Fitterer or even Frank Wright, and the turnover that's happened, there's been a lot of draft picks that have been pretty much waste because they are in multiple systems and they aren't a part of the system that was originally they were chosen to be in, and they just aren't good and they don't work out. So the Panthers are in a hole right now where they need an influx of talent in the worst way. So being able to move back potentially at a 2nd round pick or a 3rd round pick this year, or hell, depending on how far they go back, another 1st round pick would be something that would help them do exactly what they want to do. And we've heard, of course, that a lot of GMs don't want to trade up in this draft because we've heard about the talent level from around pick 7 or 8 all the way back to 30 or 45 isn't much of a difference. So what really are you gaining by moving up? But we know when in terms of quarterbacks, things can get crazy and you got to throw logic out the window sometimes, because if you think you can zero in on a quarterback that is a franchise guy, you do it. A franchise quarterback is worth whatever you had to pay to get it. If you actually get that guy, nobody's going to care what they gave up to get it. But if you look at the draft board, the team that I see and a team that's been linked to Shedeur Sanders, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers do not have their long-term answer at quarterback. They're playing that slow dance with Aaron Rodgers currently. Most people expect that to happen. He will not be the quarterback of the future, though. Could they go get Shedeur Sanders, trade up for him, let him ride the bench for 1 season and learn behind Aaron Rodgers, and then be ready for next year? Or even, hell, if Aaron Rodgers falls off a cliff this year, they can even throw Shedeur Sanders in early and just really kick things off in his rookie year. Who knows? But the Steelers being a prime position at 21 to move up to 8 is something that I'm really, really paying attention to. And I think that can net at least my Carolina Panthers a future 1st round pick. Of course, maybe even more than that, depending on how desperate they are. But the Saints could also know this and know that somebody wants to trade with the Panthers and move up themselves into that top 5 or even the 6 range to make sure they get their guy. Again, not too many people outside of the blue chip guys like Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter are really surefire things that people are absolutely in love with. So anybody in that top 5 may be willing to move back and trade with the Saints and then just be okay with however the board falls. And the Saints have 8 picks themselves, and they've never been shy about moving up in the draft to select a guy whether it's right or wrong, they moved up for Marcus Davenport. That comes to mind immediately, and that didn't work out for them at all. I'm not shedding a tear for them, but overall, the Derek Carr news just sucks for them because any chance they had of flying under the radar and then letting their guy fall to them and then selecting him is pretty much gone out of the window, and the cat is out of the bag. Just look at last year. The Atlanta Falcons selected Michael Penix Jr. with a top 10 pick after signing Kirk Cousins to a $100 million plus deal in free agency. Nobody saw that coming. Even Kirk Cousins was surprised at that. And it made a little bit of conflict, of course, but in hindsight, things worked out perfect because Kirk Cousins down the stretch was cooked and Michael Penix steps in, and now he looks like he could be their quarterback of the future. So they might have hurt some feelings in the process, but all in all, again, a franchise quarterback is worth whatever you had to do to get him. Did you have to pay 9 figures to Kirk Cousins, burn a bridge there, and pretty much throw away a year of him not disclosing an injury? Yeah. But if Michael Penix ends up being the guy for the long run, it won't even matter. Now, of course, the Saints, they didn't really have an opportunity to do that. They did take a swing at Spencer Rattler, but trying to be proactive with the quarterback position seems to be the smart thing to do. And hey, the opportunity is there now, but it feels like Derek Carr is refusing to be surprised and taken off guard by them selecting the quarterback. He came privy to the information somehow just based off all the smoke that was coming out and decided to kind of nip their chances in the bud. But we'll see how things work out and what happens. But I think this could be shaping up for some draft night trades in the top 10. What more can you ask for as a football fan and an NFL draft fan to have some fireworks on the night of the draft? Not just leading up to it, the night of the draft. I'm expecting a little bit more moving and shaking than some of these GMs were talking about, but if not, this could be the thing that we're waiting for regardless. But you guys let me know down below in the comments how you think these things work out. Do you think Shedeur Sanders will be a Saint? Do you think the Steelers move up? Do you think people will just stand pat and it's all smoke and Shedeur falls to the Saints anyway? Let me know how you feel down below in the comments. My name is Aaron Duncan with the Necessary Blunt Sports Talk. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.